Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the North Star Gaming team stream here for APAC 2026 RLCS. I am Rhino. I am joined by Sir Pegasus and Hazza pushing the buttons in the background. Pegasus, it's always fun to be back on APAC. We've not really had too many team streams this season, so it's good to be back on the desk.
Look, that'll change. It's been a very interesting season so far, to be fair, even with the very little Rocket League that has been played so far. No surprises have extended to APAC as well. There are a few no-shows today, which I must say was rather surprising after the conclusion of the Swiss stage. But of course, North Star Gaming were not one of them. This may be set in the Southern Hemisphere. That means sitting at the top is the North Star with a 3-0 record coming out of the Swiss stage and a 9-0 if you want to put it to individual games. So sure, full to the brim of confidence, have the higher seeded matchup here as well, but it's not to say that our opponents are any slouches.
No, absolutely not, and this is something that we've been talking about a little bit before the game. North Star Gaming coming in with the absolutely star-studded lineup of LCT, Baller and Luna, but our first game today is against Daybreak Frontline, which is starting very, very soon. Lunatic, J-Box, and Taha, two of the three players who were on Kinotrope last season, and we'll see if they can bring it back. North Star Gaming versus Daybreak Frontline, both teams want to get that one game away from top 8. We'll see who can get it done. J-Box early challenge onto Baller looking to follow through, and that's a bright start for the young gun from Japan.
But we already saw a little bit of a pre-jump there coming from North Star Gaming in their first attack. LCT and Baller love to show off that mechanics. They did so last season. We already see an initial strike there saved off by Lunatic, cleared out to the corner. J-Box sends it forward, and quick out of gates, you can feel that high pace between these two teams. It's definitely their preferred methodation. LCT has been doing it for a couple years now. Luna dropped down by Baller 50 lands with J-Box. Luna's going to have to bail away, and Daybreak Frontline are going to have another attack.
Yeah, and they are going to score, and it's going to be Lunatic firing into the bottom left corner. North Star Gaming don't seem to have woken up yet this morning. It's a nice pass from J-Box to Lunatic, don't get it wrong. But either way, it's the long way round now for North Star Gaming as they go 1-0 down.
With how fast both teams are playing already in this first game, of course, you might trip up, you might not be able to keep up yourself, you could be the first team to make a mistake. That's what North Star Gaming have fallen victim to once. It might happen twice. LCT can't get back in time. J-Box immediately doubling the scoring. It's a lovely pass out though from Taha. And it's not an easy shot to take. It's not an easy reaction to make either. The Daybreak Frontline passing with flying colours. North Star need to keep up.
Yeah, they do, and I do want to apologise for what I said just a moment ago. I said these two were part of Kinotrope. That was wrong. I knew it was a Japanese org of some kind. It was Blue Torch last season that Lunatic and J-Box were a part of. That's me fact-checking myself, and that's a lovely shot. Should be the finish as well. LCT gets us underway at last in this top 16 matchup. Baller with a nice shot. Taha can't do much with it. LCT finishes the job, and it is all attack from North Star Gaming as we expected.
Continuing where they left off last season, the chemistry between these two players immediately flowing in this first game. And that's exactly what you need, that kind of duoship when you want to claw back from behind. It might extend once more though to that 2-goal deficit, and it's been J-Box yet again, this time not from his own half, off their very opponent's backboard from distance, up close, consistently a point of damage against North Star.
I remember last season we were talking about J-Box as a player that was going to break through soon, had all the tools, had all of the qualities you want to see in a Rocket League professional. He didn't really live up to that billing last season, but based on what we've seen so far in this game one, he is every bit the player that we sold him to be. And that's a big demo coming through from Taha onto LCT, dealt with for the moment. But North Star Gaming, it's backs against the wall time, and their defense is looking really, really weak. We did theorize that would be the case earlier this week, Pegasus, when we were talking about this stream, that North Star Gaming have three players who all want to play first man, and we are seeing that come through in this game.
Feels like, though, that's just been the style of this series so far. It has been rather all-out attack from both teams. Daybreak frontline, of course, have taken those extra moments to drop back and try and build off from the counter, whereas Northstar Gaming certainly would be that team front-footed. Essentially 100% of the game, they'll try and force it, even if it's not necessarily possible, but I would say that's more early-day jitters than something you're going to see consistently from this team this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, they are still trying to work Luna into the way that LCT and Baller East play Rocket League, which is unconventional. It's very different to a lot of the ways that other teams and players will approach the game. And that's a big save from LCT there. The game seems to have calmed down a little bit after that flurry of early goals, which allows us that little bit of time to kind of talk about our thoughts here on this game. And that's going to be an opportunity. Goes over the heads, but Lunatic recovers well. And Northstar Gaming, they're coming forwards with a little bit more purpose now, and I like to see that.
Yes, certainly. I don't want to say this game has slowed down. The only thing that's slowed down is the flurry of goals we've had. There's been consistent booming balls forward and passing plays attempted, and even a little bit of physicality there from Taha on the backboard towards LCT. But overall, there's been that extra layer of control in defense, and frankly, that extra layer of defense flat out. Northstar Gaming have been happy to take one step back so they can take 2 steps forward. It's going to be 3 steps for Daybreak frontline. This time it's Taha to get himself on the score sheet, but if you really thought you were going to get a goal contribution without that man J-Box, you'd be dead wrong.
Yeah, the American chiming in with a goal for Daybreak frontline and 3 goals to find in a minute and a half. It's going to be a difficult road. This would be a great start on that road. LCT off the kickoff, able to bundle his way through and get that one over the line. And right, I don't know how it's come off his car last. I don't know how he's credited with that goal. But either way, 2 goals in a minute and a half feels a lot more easier than 3.
Look, if one player is using exit lag and the other one isn't, I feel like that was what made all the difference for that 50-50. J-Box coming off his own backboard, though. And, well, you mentioned the American there, Taha, and the roster. That's the big difference with APAC. You spoke about players not necessarily breaking out in the season before, but it was so tough to when there were a bunch of Europeans and North Americans coming over. Now it feels a lot more unified with these 2/3 teams coming through. Luna, to give him the benefit of the doubt, did actually adhere to that last season. But now having to slip in with such different styled players, it's definitely proving it a bit of challenge here in the GSL.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's worth thinking about, isn't it? Because if I remember rightly, it was Luna, Blue and Squiggly on that roster. And Risk is one of the most exciting young guns we've got in the region. So much fun to watch. So aggressive, so attacking. Definitely not a third man. Squiggly, I believe, is exactly the same. He wants to be in amongst it. So as far as talking about Luna joining a team where they're all going to be all attacking all the time, that might actually fit into his wheelhouse. It's not worked out so well for him in this game specifically. This might be the first game that Northstar actually are going to lose this event, but by the same token, you can see the cogs turning, you can see things starting to work, and when plays like that happen, you just can't help but get excited about how this Northstar Gaming team are playing.
All 3 of them connect. The American off the ceiling, and that connection between LCT and Baller East once more ends with that ball in the back of the net. But who's to say when this first game is over? 8 seconds remaining. Lots of pressure in the kickoff where Northstar Gaming have been able to bear fruit before, but this time it's going to be Daybreak taking that forward space. Could be the nail in the coffin. Instead, it's that save coming out from Baller East. J-Box just has to slam it down. And I feel like that's what the professionals would call, Rhino, a game of 2 halves.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair, and we can see the stats in front of us. Lunatic and J-Box going absolutely crazy. North of 650 score for both of them. Team hat-tricks as well. J-Box with 2, but Taha and Lunatic chiming in with goals. They're going to feel pretty good about the way that game went, but this is something that we actually have seen from Baller East and LCT teams before, is a very slow start in a series followed by absolute domination coming towards the end of it. And that's exactly what we do expect to see from this Northstar Gaming side, because we had them pinned, certainly in this group, as the relative easy winners, the relative easy people to go through and take one of those top 8 spots, likely one of those top 6 spots. It's not happened so far in this game, but you can see from the way that these replays are coming through that there is a lot of good that is being shown by North Star Gaming. We just have to shore up that defense.
Absolutely, but they did pick up the pace. They certainly did start to shore up that defense as time did go on. Now is the time to just keep that consistency heading into that second game, because frankly, if they continue how they ended, it felt like they were actually the team with the advantage in the second half of that game. They were able to pick up more goals than their opponents, but when you give them that head start, you give them those 3 goals right at the beginning, of course that's going to make all the difference in a close game like we've seen so far in this series. So North Star, now after the initial kickoff, let's hope all that progress hasn't gone to pot.
Yeah, let's hope so. And Luna's going to be the man to take this through. Good reset, but can't get much more done. LCT goes low, cleared away by J-Box. Baller is waiting, looks for that shot, and it's going to be wide anyway. Not wanting to give his opponents the save points. I love that from Baller. Luna coming around the side, off the backboard, needs some help, has it too. LCT finishes into the empty net, and it's 1-0.
This is what they needed. A little burst of confidence and a wonderful dribble from Luna. A pinch inside as well to find LCT. And that's what happens when you've got a player with experience on the roster, knows how to find these positions. And as soon as that ball was in that 6-yard box, that was game over for Daybreak Frontline. Now it's their turn to respond, the first time in the series so far. Yeah,
J-Box looking for that musty, doesn't come through for him. Lunatic going to try and keep the play alive, and will be able to. Taha puts the ball back into the middle. Luna, this is very awkward. Ooh. Didn't really know what he was trying to do there. In the end, it does get sent away by his teammates, and now Baller has some space to run. Blocked away by Taha. It's also worth mentioning, we are currently being scouted. I don't know if anyone's seen, but Homie in chat coming through. Kina Trope's coach is certainly looking to weigh up the competition for this weekend. You might not be too impressed with what he saw in Game 1 from North Star Gaming, but this Game 2 has started very well indeed.
Absolutely, but Daybreak Frontline still have an opportunity here in the offense. Luna will pick this ball up. It was a dribble to get that first goal side. It's going to be another individual effort. What a save from Taha. The Americans connect. North Star Gaming are forced to restart from the halfway line. This is going to be a fight till the bitter end. It's a best of 5 series. Not much time to get yourself initiated into the series. And Daybreak Frontline are making sure they use every second.
Something I do have to say is I'm so impressed with the speed, with the pace that this game is being played at. It's oftentimes that the the emerging regions get told by a lot of Rocket League fans, oh, you don't play as quick, you don't play as fluid, you don't play as fast as some of the major regions, the EUs and the NAs. This game is being played at an absolutely frenetic pace, and yes, there are mistakes being made. Yes, there are problems with the way that it's being approached. That's very close from Baller there, but it doesn't quite come through. But at the same time, it's really cool to see just how quickly these players are getting to the ball, getting shots on target. Baller comes through from deep, gets the second on the board for North Star Gaming. This is more like what I expected to see.
And I hope every series is like this season. Not just North Star Gaming picking up wins, but keeping that consistent high pace. I mean, we love it when a region has a little bit of a style they play with. I mean, we know that South America are on their completely own playing field with how they like to play a game of Rocket League. You can really tell when you're watching a MENA lobby as well. But if North Star and the rest of the competition in APAC can keep the game flowing like this, I feel like you're going to attract quite the audience as well with such entertaining Rocket League.
And that's the key, right? Oh my goodness, Lunatic so nearly gets that shot off the top. Isn't able to go through. This is nice passing play here from North Star. That's going to be a fake from LCT, but there wasn't a man at the back post. Lunatic now moving through, gets over one, gets stuffed by Luna. And now he's going to be able to send it away. 2 minutes remaining, still 2-0 up. Maybe looking for a third here. Backboard LCT. Oh no! I really thought that was going to be his moment. Unfortunately, he's going to wait another time, but they're starting to build, right? That's a really nice pass. That's a nice awareness. That's good play. No double commits on that one. We love to see it from North Star. They're looking for another one. LCT, maybe this is your moment. Oh, once again, off the backboard. He's going to get one before the series is out.
Absolutely. Luna, though, might just show him how it's done. Taha, though, Able to get that block off on his own lines. LCT gets to start again from his own half. Has a full tank of boost. That's going to be hard to go coast to coast, however, especially when you've got a man there already pre-jumping at the halfway line. J-Box, though, won't make a connection this time. Bullarice is going to make a collection of his own. Flip reset. Surely going to be the play here. The Pogo not quite landing as he would intended. And that was J-Box showing off his bit of mechanics. This time it's going to be those wall dashes to try and keep up with the ball. Daybreak front line, I must say, haven't broken much so far in this second game. It's felt like they have had a little bit of time, certainly in a progressive central third, but when it's come to actually getting into that danger area within that 6-yard box, Northstar Gaming have had it locked down, which is complete antithesis of what we saw in the opener.
And I did mention this too in the first game. It's very common for LCT and Bullarice teams to do that, to show a Jekyll and Hyde style of Rocket League, where one game they're kind of, you know, you don't know whether they've actually even practiced going into the week. They're starting to struggle with their defense. That might be another one. Oh my goodness, it's the post. But that the point still stands where it just looks very disjointed. It doesn't look right. And then suddenly, you know, you have that 1 minute between the games. Goodness gracious me, surely they score. There you go. J-Box does eventually finish the job. I'd have felt bad for them if they didn't score in that sequence, because, to be honest, they've hit the post so many times. Finally, the youngster gets on the board. But this is the point I'm making. And then after that minute of between maps, suddenly just a flick switches, and they look like a team that could absolutely dominate the region.
I feel like we just completely cast the curse for them, because as soon as we talked about how solid their defense was, I think that was the most atrocious part of the entire series so far, to be completely honest with you. But that's on them. I've got my hands up.
Yeah,
I'll take the credit this time, because look at this. Ever since we have mentioned that, they have had some attack yet again in those final seconds. 0 seconds, though. LCT goes for that bum. The floor is lava. They hit the ground. Series equalised. You'd speak about a best of 5. We return to that best of 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Great work coming through from Northstar Gaming, and a better performance certainly from Luna. LCT and Bullarice still lagging behind a little bit, need to be picked up even with those goals that they were able to score. Just need to be a little bit more efficient around the rest of the field, but you can see from these highlights that it was pretty much Northstar from start to finish. The goals looking very good, certainly. Luna being able to control that ball going round the corner, get the ball back into the middle. LCT there to finish off. That's a really nice goal, one we're going to look to replicate moving forwards in this series. Just very happy with Northstar. I will mention one more time as well. We are being scouted by 2 people now. I see Finzi in the chat, potentially the team that we're going to be playing in the winners semi-final after this one. Finzi, we see you. We hope you play very well until about an hour's time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a great relationship with Finzi, but there's a difference here between being friends and work as well, and work has to be done here from Northstar. Game 3 now underway. The last scoreline was 2-1. It felt like it could have been 3, felt like it could have been 4, maybe even more if Northstar did land some of those double taps. They were going for the more mechanical attempts, and it showed that small little difference could change the course of the game, because it was getting a little bit worrying there when Daybreak Frontline were able to bring that game within an extra 20 seconds. And who's to say that we wouldn't still be casting the game right now into an overtime. Luna pops this ball up, looks for that extra touch, does get that extra touch. It's on the man instead, though. Bullarice with a flip reset, wants to go the full distance, and that's a lovely little cherry pick from Luna.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. Bullarice keeping the possession, keeping the play alive. Reset flick, and then Luna, just the most deft of touches over 2 defenders from Daybreak Frontline, and that's going to do it for Northstar Gaming. Their first goal of this game, and maybe a second on the docket. J-Box misses. Luna to finish, goes over the top. Bullarice waiting. Squishy save will not be relevant, and it's 2-0.
Unbelievable pressure from Northstar. Keeps it simple, knocks it off that backboard, realises their space there, and Daybreak Frontline, they have to go for that pre-jump, just on the off chance that Luna does shoot for the target. That's called playing high percentage. That's playing professional Rocket League. That is what Northstar can bring to the table.
Certainly is, and an early 2-0 lead is going to settle a lot of nerves on the Northstar side. Fair to say, Daybreak Frontline have put up a very, very good defense. very good look in this series so far. But a 2-goal buffer, bit of daylight, is very welcome from a North Star perspective, and it will be an opportunity here for Luna, flicking forwards, looking for a teammate to take that one through. It absolutely rockets towards the net. Isn't going to do much more. Lunatic takes out Luna, but it does slow him down in the process, so LCT picks it up, wants the pinch, just doesn't come away from the wall.
Not a bad attempt, though. Still get some forward space. Daybreak do have to start from their own line. Some time was given as well to pick up those boost counts. You can see that on the right-hand side of your screen, and that should help solidify that defense. There's a little bit of cement here in this brick wall that's starting to dry. Lunatic, though, still looking to break through. Luna will get that 50 against J-Box, and now this is the opportunity they've been waiting for. A small gap to see themselves forward. Luna wants to take that opportunity, but Lunatic will end up making that save.
Yeah, Luna and Lunatic on different sides. It's fun to keep track of, and it's a good save from Lunatic there. I don't know that he is necessarily the third man in this team, although saying that, I don't think anyone is a third man on this field or in APAC in general. I think it's one of those situations where they're playing a little bit differently. They just kind of have a more free-flowing look at the game. That's a lovely pass, and it's not going to come to anything. Lunatic hits the bar. At 2.5 minutes, that would have made this game look a lot different, with North Star then being 1 goal ahead instead of 2. But we maintain our lead, and now we're looking for another one, and that is just a bull rush to the bottom left-hand corner. Get as many people behind you. It's basically a ruck, a scrum at that point as you're playing rugby. Just try and get as many people behind the ball as possible. Get it over the line. They go 3-0 up.
A little bit off topic, but Summer Series Elite being tagged there for Luna. I have never seen that title in my life, and frankly, I have no idea what that's for, but I'm sure Hazza will be educating me later. That's a man that knows every single title in the game. LCT beaten there by Lunatic. Taha will find it inside. A little bit of a double commit there from LCT and Bulleris. Not too much boost burnt though, so not going to be punished too easily. Daybreak, they'll have their work cut out for them. Lunatic off that corner, and it feels like often they are siphoned off to these corners. A little bit of space in field, though, is given to J-Box. That's not the player you want to see going for a double tap, though North Star defend that one deftly. A 3-goal difference, 100 seconds remaining on the clock. Just the best position so far for North Star, but we know how quickly that can change with Daybreak. 3-man bunch up at the front post. I felt like that was going to be a goal, but instead they do survive.
Felt like there was a real opportunity there for Daybreak frontline, but North Star Gaming, they have really settled in the kind of defensive way. Okay, you know what? We should stop talking, shouldn't we? We should just not discuss. Pegasus takes one, I'll take one.
Mute on, Mike.
Yeah, just get it gone. That one's a rough one, talking about how good we were feeling about it, and yeah. Okay, anyway, still 2 goals in the lead, still feeling good. 1 minute 17 to go, and North Star Gaming still very much have an opportunity to take series point here.
Well, I spoke about the first game being a game of 2 halves. This third one certainly has done as well. Daybreak frontline, they've had offense, but it hasn't felt like they've been too dangerous.
Oh, no way.
Ouch.
Yeah, they've not been too dangerous, except for this absolutely ridiculous redirect that goes in off the crossbar. Yeah, that's
Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, Rhino, okay? Look, sometimes you say something and you speak the wrong thing into existence. Maybe I don't have the best karma in the world. I don't know what I did in a past life. But I don't want to pass that on to LCT, Luna and Ballery. So enough comments about our opponents. Let's talk about North Star. Wanting to play that little bit more defensively, and you can tell that's not their style. Susceptible, opened up, Lunatic scores again.
Credit to Taha. That's where the credit goes on that one. It's just a nice shot from Lunatic, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, that is just Taha taking space, being able to make sure that there's no defenders ready to make the play. And suddenly, from 3-0 up, North Star Gaming, well, they fall now, but Balleries picks us back up. And it's almost as if they went level and were like, oh, we might actually lose this game now. We kind of need to, we need to score again. And Balleries does just that. A miss off the backboard from Taha. He doesn't even try and jump up for that ball. He knows the future of this. And it will be North Star Gaming with a 4-3 lead.
25 seconds still to go, and like I said before, you can see how quickly Daybreak Frontline can change the course of a game. That's a wonderful flick forward by J-Box. Lunatic again go for the redirect. The bumps are coming through. Doesn't need to land. The threat alone does enough damage. It's going to be Taha to find the back of the net. It was a series of unfortunate events. This one, though, not written by Lemony Snickets.
Welcome back to APAC Rocket League, everybody, where you literally have no idea what the score of the game is going to be until 0 seconds is on the board. And even then, it's a bit of a crapshoot. We are here, 15 seconds remaining, 4-4. So back and forth now. Baller giving it back to Lunatic after, it's fair to say, getting bullied in their own half recently. LCT out jumps that one. Once the bump, doesn't find it. Baller will keep the ball alive in the corner, but won't be able to have an opportunity to take a shot. So who will take series point, Northstar Gaming or Daybreak Frontline? We'll find out in this OT.
J-Box wants to get it done quickly. That 50-foe drops down to Baller Reese. Lunavo is lurking there, coming off the ceiling. Does decide not to use this flip. Stays on ground. Lunatic wants that counter-attack. LCT is praying for that corner boost spawn. It does. Instead, though, concedes to the other team. That's immediately used to wipe out a defender. Is that physical play that made all the difference in regulation? Looks to do the same in OT as well, as Lunatic does hunt for that little bit extra, but he's going to roll himself on back because it's time to defend. Luna's on the ball, wants to come off that ceiling as a man right behind jumps a little bit early for my liking, and that shows his hand way too early.
Yeah, I don't know if he was waiting for LCT to commit off the back of it and kind of be like, I'm just faking. Maybe the communication not quite there. Oh, LCT takes 2 out of the play, and now he's got an opportunity, but he can't find the pass inside. This OT has so far really been in favor of Northstar. They've been the ones attacking. They've been the ones with the shots. They have not been the ones with that goal, that all-important goal just yet, and Lunatic robs that one. Blocked high. Taha not on target with an opportunity off the backboard. Won't send it through, and that was a real chance for Daybreak Frontline that doesn't go through. Here's a chance for Lunatic, but sent into the corner nicely. Couple of demos go back and forth. It's chaotic, it's mental, it's APAC.
Baller race across. Luna was waiting at that bottom left. Unfortunately, so was Lunatic. Gets that miss on that front line as well. Call it calculated. Goes for the heavy clearance instead. Taha puts that ball high. LCT make sure there's no mechanical shenanigans. Baller Reese wants to create some of his own. 0 boost foe from Taha. Forces him to send that ball off heavy. It's a solid 50-50. Lunatic's there as the second, and it's these loose balls that make all the difference. Lunatic was going to make the difference, but instead Luna boosts that ball out yet again. Lunatic's going for those bumps. That's an unfortunate 50-50, but completely calculated by who's been somewhat of a silent killer since his opening game, J-Box of Daybreak Frontline.
Yeah, the young Japanese prodigy coming through once again and sending a dagger into the hearts of Northstar Gaming. Daybreak Frontline now take series point, and well, it's fair to say we weren't expecting this, Pegasus. Now, I don't want to get the excuses out too early, but I have been talking to Luna this week in preparation for this stream, and he has informed me that it does seem like himself and LCT unfortunately have come down with well, they believe it could be COVID. It certainly is a very, very bad cold. They certainly weren't feeling very good yesterday. Not to give excuses to this team, because being 3-0 up and then losing 5-4 in overtime is relatively unexcusable at this level. However, just giving some context around why this team might not be playing to 100% of the level and quality that we expect them to be at today.
COVID or not, you're still going to be able to sniff out a victory no matter whether that sense is even there in the first place. So heading into this next game, of course, they will have match points against them, but come on. This is a team with experience now. Baller Reese has really stepped up in the past few seasons. He had an absolute blinder in the last one. I was really impressed with the way he played, and that was next to the extremely experienced LC2. He's been in these positions and a lot worse before in his career, and still been able to end up on top. Luna as well, to round off that roster, has shown some signs of promise as well in the APAC regions. Actually been here for quite some time. I'm not going to lose faith, and I'm sure the players have not either.
No, I'm certain they haven't. Luna going to try and give some of that faith back. Lunatic Gets in the way, cleared away, and now this is where Balleris can try and strike. He loves playing from that midfield line, trying to take a long clearance and then convert it into an opportunity. Not taken very well by LCT there, but in the end it is sent away, and now Luna has a reset, doesn't use it, waits for the follow-through, might have confused Taha enough. No, the ball didn't have enough power behind it, and Daybreak front line clear their lines, looking for the shot now, but should be easily saved by Luna and is.
That booming ball was the perfect length there. Balleris able to reach it. Sidewall attempted, doesn't land, but still gets credited for that assist. Luna lurks in the centre. Daybreak frontline, sole defender J-Box will not be enough. And just when I thought the first goal would go to the Blues, Northstar Gaming take it to the other side.
Big goal to get momentum back in favour of Northstar Gaming. It was such a heartbreaking way to end Game 3. But now, Game number 4 starts in the way we would like it to continue. Of course, we can't predict that. We don't know. This is APAC. But LCT is going to look for this one. Just gets a little bit too much on it. Luna's been taken out. LCT still battling, still fighting in the play. Doesn't get anything to go, but I love that kind of pitbull nature of LCT, where he doesn't give up on a play. He just keeps going, tries to cause problems in the back line for his opponents. That is going to come in so handy against every team here in APAC.
Ball across the back now. Lunatic will pass it back to J-Box. Was creative, though Balleris still was able to read that play ahead of time. LTT will take it high, has 20 boost, has to go for that pop reset to try and find Luna. J-Box is able to collect low boost, and heavy touches aren't going to be a cause of concern here in that counter-attack. It's immediately turned over. Balleris' 2 touches reach LCT. A 1v2 though, can't go the full distance, and it is a small moment of calm, but it certainly feels like this is going to be before the storm. Balleris has to take it off his backboard, does so confidently.
And this is something you will see quite a lot with Luna. Well, he's going to score, which is so important, but when there is that moment in the team where it's kind of 2 players going for the same ball, when you look at that kind of double commit there on the backboard between Luna and I believe it was Balleris, you know Luna is going to be in VC going, my ball, and he's going to follow that through. He's going to be the one to extend the play in those moments. And that's exactly what he did there to the benefit of Northstar Gaming. They go 2-0 up, looking for a third off the kickoff. It's not going to come yet, but this is really good news at the moment for Northstar Gaming. However, we've not even played half of this game yet, and we know how quickly a game can turn on its head, Pegasus.
I was about to say, a lot of emphasis on for moments. Northstar Gaming have got to keep their heads screwed on. I don't want to see them fall back either to that really heavy defensive style that they've fallen a trap to in a lot of these recent games as soon as they have taken a lead, because I just don't feel like that's their comfortable style of play. That's not where we've seen success from this roster. And simply, it doesn't feel like the styles of the players either, particularly. That ball over from Lunatic, though, will cause some trouble. Here's perhaps the punishment when you go all the way in the other direction, though that's a rather ambitious jump from LCT. Definitely the third man in that position.
Yeah, full boost, thinks maybe he can steal it early, and that is, you know, that's exactly the kind of play that you would expect this roster to make is, you know, we don't want to sit back, we don't want to play third man Rocket League, we want to get the jump, and if we can steal that ball in that moment, then we're going to be able to have an opportunity. That's what they're thinking, rather than, okay, I've got to get back, prevent the goal, make sure that, you know, we're protecting our goal line. I don't mind that style of play as long as you win the game. Do you know what I mean? If you win a game 8-7, then yeah, who cares? You know, you've done the job. That's exactly the way you want to play, and it's entertaining Rocket League. But on that occasion, maybe a little bit of calm should have washed over LCT and realized that, yeah, it might not have been the smartest of plays to intercept that ball. But he's bringing this ball around the corner now. He's got Luna for support. Balleris now on this right-hand side will be given an opportunity, takes a shot. It's feeble at best, and Lunatic saves.
Frankly, right, if they turtle the entire game and still manage to win, I'd be a happy bunny as well. But you can't be making mistakes like that in the GSL stage. Got to be keeping your cool here. That's some fundamental Rocket League that I would expect from these 3 players. They've got their lives on the line. It was a 2-goal difference and lots of time on the clock. That wasn't the time to be desperate. We're now finding a little bit more solidity. I'm hoping that we don't concede to any more opportunities like that, because even if it doesn't happen for the rest of this 4th game, if it does happen in the 5th, we're going to have a longer stream in the lower bracket.
Yeah, certainly, and that's going to be a nice shot. Lunatic just about gets a hand up, and now the counter-attack for Daybreak Frontline is in, but Luna, huge challenge to make this one go back the other way. Ball over the top. Lunatic just about gets there again, and I've been really impressed by Lunatic's defensive capabilities here on Daybreak Frontline. He really has been the player asked a lot of in a defensive stance for this side, and he's been answering that call every single time. Really great work from him. 13 seconds to go in this game number 4. We're not going to go to OT, are we? Off the crossbar. Chance for J-Box. Needs to finish into the empty net. His teammate saved it. No way! Oh my goodness. Daybreak Frontline have come apart at the seams. And they should have just left the ball. There was no one there.
Oh my goodness. Still 0 seconds. The ball is high. Who's to say Daybreak Frontline are even done yet? Flip reset, pops over. LCT has to stand back down. He does. And North Star match their opponents, put themselves on match points. And I'm going to go back to that first goal that North Star Gaming conceded. That could have been the difference. That's why you don't play desperate. We speak about styles that a lot of these regions have.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about the high speed and the high risk gameplay we've seen so far from APAC in this first series. The difference between this region and what we would call the more developed ones, the likes of North America, the likes of Europe, it isn't their high pace of play, it's their controlling of it, it's their manipulation of it, when they slow down, when they speed up, when they take risks, when they do not. These are 3 players of North Star that can find that balance. They've been somewhat off it in this first series, hence why it has been so close. But we know that once they get it together, this is a close to unbeatable side in this region, but that's not what we're seeing ahead of us. We've got to talk about what's ahead of us, Rhino, and that's a Game 5, which certainly at this point feels like a coin flip.
Yeah, it does. It does. This game could absolutely go either way. I also have to appreciate that Homie in chat, the first time he doesn't post in Japanese, he says J-Box troll. That's so that's made my life right there. But here we go. Game number 5. Daybreak Frontline, North Star Gaming have played an absolute blinder of a series so far. Who will get the opportunity to go to top 6 and who will be sent into the lower bracket, arguably prematurely based on how this game has gone? Sir Pegasus, 5 minutes of Rocket League to find out.
No easy losers out of this game. Both teams have definitely got that capability in amongst them. That's a ball off the back wall. It was undefended, but still, no one was there available for the drop down. Ballaris is going to have to start from his own lines. Finds LZ2,
nice
2 touches off a corner. Ballaris somehow read that ball was going to go right on his lap. Wants to put it right back into the mixer. It's going to be LCT back to Ballaris. Luna got a really nice sight of that gameplay, watching the 2 locals connect together, but once more J-Box gets that clearance. It's Lunatic on the counter. Shot down very quickly from North Star Gaming. Where a Daybreak Frontline, J-Box just in the nick of time.
Yeah, but this is North Star Gaming exerting pressure, doing what they love to do, camping in their opponent's half. They're going to keep going. J-Box does eventually send it away, and as we looked down the field there, I was so happy to see that we actually had a third man. Thank goodness for that. We clear the ball down the left-hand side. LCT getting up now. Does go over the top of him, out of the corner. Luna into the middle. No Ballaris, no LCT to be found. Luna's probably not going to be too happy about that one. Now this pass will be met by LCT. Ballaris gets up as well, out of the corner. Needs some help. Isn't really going to have it, and Lunatic sends it away. The immediate counter-attack is in. J-Box backboard, double no. Luna able to stuff it.
Amazing save, but still not out of the woods yet. Taha's going to go for his double of his own. Shows his team how it's done. Finds that little pocket of space on the back wall, and I say little because Luna was so close to reaching it. It was still not enough. First goal to Daybreak Frontline. These games have flipped rather quickly. We've seen some high-scoring affairs. 3 minutes 19 left on the clock. Bring it on.
Yeah, and oftentimes this is the point at which, you know, certainly in a 5-game series, us casters are going to look for some kind of storyline thread to build on. You know, oh, every time a team has scored first in this series, they've gone on to win. That's not true. You know, we're looking for something, but honestly, this game is so back and forth. It's so left and right at all times. There really isn't any precedent for how this game is going to go. 2 minutes 48 to go. And now Luna's going to look for one of his mazy runs down the line. Coast to coast will get blocked away by Lunatic. But Daybreak frontline, their defense has been pretty stellar so far this game. They will need to keep that because Northstar are going to keep pressing forwards.
Coast to coast, left, right, up and down, maybe a trip to the fourth dimension. Northstar are trying anything possible to try and break this Daybreak frontline defense. Like you said, so solid so far. Luna can't beat his man. It stays in that safe corner for Daybreak. But LCT, that's a lovely pickpocket there in the infill. The first touch, though, does leave a lot to be begged for.
It does. And now Luna just baiting one out. Now getting the reset, not using it. Going through Luna, going the distance. Oh my goodness, beat two. Couldn't get the third. Taha, his countryman, able to stop him and go back down the other way. That is so unbelievably disrespectful. Stops the coast to coast from Luna and then goes coast to coast himself. It's 2-0 to Daybreak frontline. And Pegasus, just under 2 minutes for Northstar Gaming to try and pick this back.
You exhale, you say fair enough, and you move on. 2 minutes, a goal a minute needed by Northstar Gaming. LCT doesn't get that double tap, but
Nice.
Buller is away behind, sends that ball low, and LCT wanted that extra touch. It's not there. And Taha certainly been the star man in this fifth game. He could be that clutch factor, that difference. He is again in defense with that clearance on forward. Balleris has to make work from his corner. That first touch was heavy still, though no one was there to challenge. The ball's popped high. Luna doesn't connect either. And that's a player you'd really rely on in these kind of positions. He's been pretty solid throughout this series. Instead, though, those 2 minutes I mentioned before are essentially already cut to half.
Yeah, now Lunatic going over the top. It's not blocked away by LCT. There's a chance there for Taha.
Wow.
And it looks like it's top six gone for Northstar Gaming. We've talked about how quickly these games can turn on their heads. We appreciate that that is possible. 3 goals in a minute and 6. However, just looking at the balance of play, looking at the way Daybreak frontline have approached this game number 5, that could be an opportunity for a kickoff goal. It doesn't come through. And now the clearance will be in with Balleris having used all of his boost. Gonna have to go back and try and build again. And every time that happens, every time Daybreak frontline get a challenge, get a block, more time off the clock, more time for Northstar Gaming to consider the fact that they will be going down into the lower bracket.
Surely, I don't see that turning around now, especially with how solid Daybreak have been on their back lines. And I think the big difference between these two teams as well has been, look at Daybreak. They've gotten themselves that 3-goal lead. You don't see them now sitting back, shelling up, not going for any offensive plays. Instead, still looking to control that pace. When they do take possession, they'll take that ball forward as well. And I don't feel like we were seeing the same from Northside. Left them susceptible to those reduced score lines against their favourites. How they ended up losing that game 4 as well. But this is going to be a ball drop down. 5 seconds remain here in the upper bracket. Northstar Gaming are going to have to fight for a perfect 2 best of 5s.
Gotta say, LCT does a good job to get a hand up to that top corner to prevent it from being 4-0. But when you're preventing it from being 4-0 rather than winning the game, that's a very different story. And you can see it right there. You mentioned it. Taha, the absolute outright victor of this game. 761 points, a hat-trick of goals, a hat-trick of saves. Also, 3 goals from 3 shots, 100% shooting percentage. Taha, an absolute star-making performance, played incredibly well. But a lot for Northstar Gaming to think about. It was really poor. It was actually probably the worst game of the series from a Northstar Gaming perspective. Game 1 was not the easiest, but that game 5 really, really went against them. And it was the most clear to see where the flaws in this team were in that game number 5. And unfortunately, we take the loss, and we will move down into the lower bracket where I have to be honest, Pegasus, it doesn't actually look like we're going to have a game, because what should be happening is we should be dropping into that lower bracket, losers round 1, to play against the team of Lamb Munchers, which is Ray, Sund, and Orc Wavy. But that trio had DQ'd in the first round. Rapier got through without having to play a game into the winner's semi-final. So we're going to drop down into that. And if they are not here today, it will be a free route into the losers quarterfinal, I should say, where we will play against the loser of Kenotrope and Sailing Esports Pegasus, which, I mean, that's likely to be Sailing Esports if we're all being 100, right? That's I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think you're right. It will be a tough matchup, but we might have plenty of time to think about it during this break. It has been an interesting first series of the day, so grab your tissues, wipe up those tears, dust yourself up for the next series, and same message to the players as well, although those tissues are going to be for the sniffles. Hopefully the players can heal up, raring to go in that lower bracket. It's one life, best of fives for the mainstream. We'll see you then.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're mine. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, 'cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going at should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to.
In the end, it went down to a game number 5, which was absolutely dominated by our opponents. Now, North Star Gaming have had some time to kind of reconvene, reassess, and go again as we go into this lower bracket semi-final. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rhino, joined again by Sir Pegasus, and it's fair to say we need to see quite the step up from North Star Gaming in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a great performance in that uppers whatsoever, but now here in the losers, we actually do have our run predetermined. It's going to be Lamb Munchers for the first series, that team that did forfeit in the upper bracket, and we did have questions whether they would eventually show up, but of the two teams that did forfeit of uppers, both of them have returned, so we will be playing that lower bracket quarterfinals, but for the semis, that is determined to be Sailing Esports, who got swept by Kinetro, but actually having a look at that series, it was a lot closer than I felt like many people were expecting. So certainly one that the team are going to have to be in tip-top shape for after this first performance. But that's assuming they get past it in the first place. You've got to take it one series at a time, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the main man you're going to be looking at on Sailing Esports is Tossis, of course, who was able to make quite a few top 8 runs last time, but North Star Gaming take to the field once again, and they are playing against Lamb Munchers on this occasion. Sverand, Ray, and Orkwavy take to the field against the icons of the APAC region.
And that's going to be a tough name to pronounce as well. I must say, these are 3 players that I haven't particularly heard of on the side of Lamb Munchers, so whatever performance they do show us will be completely untouched ground. To start us off, though, it's going to be a goal for Luna. Definitely a step up, but what we saw in the uppers, it was plenty of pressure to go around. All 3 players getting themselves a warm touch with the ball as well, but most importantly, back of the net. 30 seconds, 1 goal North Star. Let's keep this up, boys.
Yeah, absolutely, though you do have to get a little bit concerned with the way that previous game went. Going 1-0 up wasn't a sign of success always for the North Star Gaming side. So as you say, got to keep it up, got to keep the pressure on. That's exactly what they're doing there. It's a good save by Ray initially. Luna keeps control of the ball, looking for the pass midfield. It will be pushed away by the Lamb Munchers defense, but once again, North Star just right there on the scene to try and get this goal that would give them daylight.
Ball down here by Baller or Quavy, though. Deals that ball first. Does go for the ambitious Arsenal reset. Doesn't quite come through. LCT. Drop down, sends it high. A better first touch. Manages to keep that ball close and uses his empty jump to get away. And Luna's able to collect it down to Baller. This is an intelligent play coming from all 3 players. This is the chemistry we were waiting for.
And this is what we needed to see from North Star Gaming against a team that it's fair to say not a lot of us had heard of before coming into this bracket. We needed to see a convincing series. We needed to see a game where North Star Gaming were on top for pretty much the entire 5 minutes. As of right now, that is exactly what's happening. Lamb Munchers will come forwards here. Luna just trying to shadow defense that and does very well to make sure the ball doesn't hit his net. Now the teamwork between LCT and Baller could bear fruit, but Baller doesn't have enough boost to make it work. This is a very, very solid start, though, from the North Star side.
Absolutely, and they look to get that lead to 3. LCT is given an absolute treat here. It's a lovely 50 of his own accord. Ray's on that back foot, sent it over his own teammate, and for a second there I thought that was Baller Reese. No, he was sitting a little bit deeper. Assist coming from the wrong colour of the pitch, but you're going to see no complaints from North Star.
Certainly not. And LCT might go again. Over the top, ceiling reset, looks for the shot, it's off the crossbar. But this is when North Star Gaming are so dangerous, when they're starting to have fun, when they're starting to bring out the mechanics, when they're starting to really feel it in their Rocket League ability. They are a very momentum-based team. And so as soon as they have a couple of plays that go their way, as soon as they have a couple of mechanics that work out for them, expect to see some fireworks from this side, and that's exactly what we're getting right now. 3-0, not even half the game played. Lamb Munchers going to be wishing they DQ'd this one as well.
But for North Star, assuming that this is going to be a run that continues, I felt like this was a series that they needed to play before facing Sailing Esports. They would have not allowed them to have this much space and time early in the game to get themselves warmed up and ready. Look, it's approaching those Christmas months. Those hands are going to be cold, but they are starting to warm up now. And they are increasing in danger. Luna sidewall off that back wall could form as an assist, but Quavy has a lovely catch there to keep that ball moving away from his net. More work to be done.
Yeah, there is. And Baller is going to pick this one up. We know he loves to play out of these positions, but immediately stopped by Ray. LCT now picks the ball up. He's going to look to go coast to coast, but stopped again by Lamb Munchers. And they are able to get those stops kind of in the middle of the park, which is causing North Star Gaming now a little bit of problems. But being 3-0 up and starting to see problems, you're not going to be too worried about it at this moment in time. It's Orc Wavy trying to zigzag his way through the North Star defense. LCT eventually sends it away, looking for that redirect off the sidewall, cleared away by Ray. Baller coming through, looking to get an opportunity. LCT with a demolition is going to be enough, and the clearance from Orc Wavy is there, and actually that's going to be a free opportunity for Lamb Munchers. Ball back to his teammates looking for the shot. It's way off target, and North Star Gaming can reset.
Yeah, that attack is as good as dead now. Luna will extend that ball forwards, then is going to be on the back corner. That was the first time attempting to pronounce that name. Definitely felt like I butchered it. Luna takes his ball high. That's a name I'm confident on. Drops down here for the main man again. Baller 50's in the corner. Orc Wavy down to LCT. That pressure starting to mount once more, but this is a heavy 50 coming from Ray. I felt like I was going to start something special. This could be something special. They really made me believe.
Luna, look, actually, no, you know what? We're 3-0 up with 30 seconds to go. Yeah, carry on. Do what you want. Why not? It's, listen, if you don't buy a ticket, you'll never win the lottery. Do you know what I mean? So you might as well give it a go. It's Baller out of the corner, looking for a pass in field, and there will be a man at the back post. Luna just can't convert, hits the upright. But with 12 seconds left, don't waste them, boys. We need those goals for future games, not for this one. And, Luna?
Oh?
You good, bro?
What are you doing here, man?
Yeah, that's a bit of an easy one. And, yeah. just gets wrong. Let's call it that way and move on. 5 seconds, 2 goals to find. It won't be happening.
Yeah, this game is going to eclipse, and North Star will take the first. Luna, hold on. Okay, let's move on, Luna. Let's move on, man. This wasn't your game, and that's okay.
Hang on.
And that's okay. Hold on. Never mind. This is his game. This is Luna's moment. This is Luna's series. Second goal. I think that will secure him MVP as well. Looking to sweep his way through the lower bracket. Luna, ladies and gentlemen.
Luna's world, and we're just living in it, folks. That is beautiful, and there you go. He does indeed get the MVP of the game. Had a couple of misplays in there, but you know what? On the balance of play, I thought he was actually quite quality. So everyone chiming in with a goal at least for North Star Gaming. 2 on the board for Luna. Everyone getting an assist as well, sharing the love. Love to see that. And yeah, North Star Gaming, that is probably the most solid we've seen them play today. Didn't see a game like that in the first series of the day against Daybreak Frontline, it's fair to say, and everything looked like it was working out for them outside of that one Luna miss on the play to let Lamb Munchers back in. That's the only real mistake that I can see. Everything else I'm quite happy with from an All-Star perspective, and they'll take a lot of momentum from that game.
Certainly, but you got to talk about that difference in competition as well. Lamb Munchers aren't exactly Daybreak Frontline, and I feel like North Star Gaming, I really do hate to use this phrase, were unlucky to have that matchup, but they truly were. I mean, North Star went 3-0 in their Swiss stage and probably got the toughest matchup from a lower seeded side out of a lot. Daybreak Frontline went to round 5 of Swiss, and I believe one of those losses was against Project De La Cruz, and their other loss was a game 5, so it was a bit of an unlucky day at the office for them. Lamb Munchers felt like, honestly, the warm-up match that this team deserved. Now having to do it in losers to pick up that little bit of pace before sailing esports. Maybe we should give them that benefit of a doubt for a roster that has always been slow starters. Kickoff as well. I'm not going to call that a caster curse. I'll give you a benefit of a doubt for the kickoff as well. That's actually really well taken.
Yeah, it is. That's one that Lamb Munchers will be quite happy to look at, and they'll feel pretty good about. But we're looking at it from an All-Star perspective of that should really be the only one they're going to be able to get this game. Orc Wavy will get bumped away. Now Baller takes it through, flicks it high, looks for help, doesn't need it. Baller the shot just finds its home. It might be about 20 kph, it's 58. but it doesn't matter as long as it finds the net. We don't care. And the immediate response from North Star.
You could hear the whistle of the bomb dropping down into the back of the net there. It was a slow-moving, looping over fake kickoff strategy for North Star Gaming in response to Lamb Munchers before LCT's coming off that ceiling, but Orkwavy reigns on that parade. A counter-attack begins, but Luna catches it on his corner.
Nice idea. Love to see that coming through from North Star Gaming. They're bringing out the set plays, and that is important to make sure we're practicing those in competition, in games that aren't just scrims. And, you know, it didn't work out this time, but there's no reason not to try it again if the opportunity arises and you think it might work. So, good stuff to see from North Star Gaming. It was a nice idea, and they will be able to bring it to fruition next time. Luna trying to get this goal to bring North Star into the lead. LCT! An absolute laser from the left side. And North Star lead 2-1.
Talk about the shot, talk about a pass as well from Luna. Great control there in the corner, and the ball doesn't bounce off too far, so he can still backflip towards it with that bit of power. That is an intricate play in that corner that you can only appreciate if you were there. Lamb Munchers have gone for the exact same kick-off strategy that was successful that first goal. If it worked the first time, why couldn't it work the last? In fact, felt like they probably should have scored from that opportunity, but just could not end up finding the target on that final touch as punishment. Double tap, Luna not on, save out first, but it's low boost all round and raised on the back foot. Baller Reese will send it to the side, and LCT, it's not a play you want to give space. Luna's off the ceiling, what is going on?
That might be the only time in the entirety of watching North Star Game where I'm like, oh, I wish you would have gone for that ball. Baller Reese, the ball was just dropping in front of him. It looks perfect to take. And he actually doesn't go for it. He turns around and looks to play defense. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it shows growth or something. But I'd like to have seen him go for it either way. 3 minutes left on the clock. LCT turning the corner. Will be sent away. Baller Reese will collect. Waited a little while to do it. But in the end, Lamb Munchers do double commit forwards. Orkwavy intercepts the ball. Now turning back towards the North Star Gaming shot. That's lovely. But LCT makes a good save.
He really does. Coming off his own corner, he is 50'd off. That was heading towards the target with Baller Reese. Hey, that one look easy. As if it was part of his expectation. Orkwavy's getting a bit awkward on this ball, but still, want to make something out of it. Had a few frustrating looks back as well when he realised he wasn't going to be finding his teammates. A little bit of emotion shown, but he continues to get that bit creative, and I'm all for it. If what was attempted before isn't going to work, this is where you start to get a little bit more creative. North Star certainly have been all day with varying degrees of success so far, though. Happy with what I've seen. There's no one here really prepared to take that shot. That was always going to get blocked off. Lunavos takes it off that back wall. That was calculated. Well, Lamb Munchers were able to react in a nick of time.
And that was kind of a minute there of that suffocating playstyle that North Star Gaming love to put forwards. That's a nice shot from LCT. Orkwavy does turn it away. Easily, I would say, the best player on Lamb Munchers so far in this series. Looking to get a goal for himself. Does find the pass. Off the top rope comes LCT to make the block. But, you know, that is the kind of play that North Star want to be putting forwards. They want to be able to just absolutely dominate a team. Luna finishes off, but credit to LCT for chasing down that demo. He might not have got it, but he's caused the defense enough stress that Ray thought he had to come round on the squishy save. Easy to finish into anywhere else in the net for Luna. And now there's daylight between North Star and Lamb Munchers.
Certainly, you can see that panic in Ray's gameplay there, going for that in and out save. He was never going to have enough time to pop out for that save. That's when you've got to get those jumps over and just pray that LCT does not jump with you. I'm sure that he would have. Felt like a guaranteed goal at that point. Luna's going to take this 50 on. Severendo sends it back on forward. LCT's going to make it work from the corner. That pinches down somehow on target. He's making the impossible angles possible. Luna's shot as well. Blocked off once more by the Lamb Munchers defender. North Star do temporarily sit themselves down in defense. I say temporary, because they're going to be going back to kickoff positions.
Right, let's just figure this out. Orkwavy sends it forwards. The camera cuts at the worst of times. But I think it was Baller Reese who just finished into an empty net. Yeah. All right. Well, Only 1 goal in it. Now there should be 2 goals in it. No! Severin able to make the save. Another opportunity. LCT looking for the pass to the back post. Luna's there. And Luna will score. And everyone can just calm down a bit. We're back.
We forget about that last goal now, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't count. The difference is still remaining the same. Luna's got himself back on the score sheets with 53 seconds left. Surely, we don't let this one slip now.
Surely. Surely. Orgwavy will be the man to unlock the North Star defense if there is anybody on the side of Land Munchers, but he can't find a pass to a teammate, and that clearance is very, very big from North Star as now LCT goes low. Baller will be required to just clean things up. Orgwavy gets the demo, but Baller has the ball. He's going to move back down the field, gets the reset. Maybe looking for the musty flick. Doesn't get all of it. Ball over the top, hits the crossbar. Baller has another opportunity, another bite of the cherry. He can't convert. But with 20 seconds left, 2 goals to find for Land Munchers. The ball staying in this half is not a bad thing.
Back onto Baller has to send this one corner to corner. LCT's available, just has to run down this clock. But North Star are looking for that little bit extra. Luna can't get that double tap. Baller will reach. And just shy of that crossbar. It's 5-2. It's the game decided. We'll see you on match points.
We certainly will. 5-2 in the end. North Star Gaming. Steady the ship, I think it's fair to say. That's the phrase I particularly want to use because it really felt like it was rocky seas and very difficult to see a way through. But now, with 2 games back-to-back, both won by, I believe, 3 goals, North Star Gaming are looking a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable, and feeling a lot better. So, I was going to say I do have to ask what ping Orgwavy is playing on. Currently playing on 90, which anything below 100 is definitely playable. It's obviously not ideal, but it's certainly what you would be looking for. But there you go. North Star Gaming, Pegasus. We're certainly more content with these performances in this series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, still, there are going to be those little bit of sections in their game which is going to be unproven, but frankly hasn't been tested all that much from Land Munchers, and that's of course how North Star respond to a lot of pressure. They certainly had to step up to that test against Daybreak Frontline, and they couldn't quite do it. Land Munchers haven't been able to really initiate that, but I must say a lot of the time it's because North Star Gaming have decided to add another goal to their tally, this time in their own net, when the ball has gone into their own third. So if they start to clean those up a little bit, we'll be looking good heading into Sailing Esports. It has been improving. They're aging like a fine wine right now, and in Game 3, I'm not just looking for a win against Land Munchers, I'm looking for the perfect prerequisite gameplay to face off against Sailing Esports, because ultimately, Rhino, we did head into this series pretty confident we would be on the winning side by the end of it, but it's about how that preparation is put in place before the big match for qualification.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing that you've got to look at for this series. I mentioned it in Game 1. We don't just want to beat Land Munchers. We need to put a statement down that the first series of the day was just an unlucky game. That was just one where, you know, we weren't 100% switched on. We weren't 100% there. So at the end of the day, we are just looking for an absolute demolition in this series. LCT gets us underway in Game 3.
And LCT, what a shot this is. I must say, that's been such an impressive part of this series, specifically when they have found themselves into these little pockets when they can just blast that ball forward. They've done so well at finding the target, especially from distance. LCT has definitely been that man for me to watch out for, but that's what has been characteristic of him for years now in the Rocket League scene, and that has made its swift reintroduction in this broadcast from this second series and hopefully onwards.
Absolutely. After this game, provided that it does stay the same and North Star do get the victory, there will be one more series left today. It will be for that top 8 qualification, as you rightly said. And with 4 minutes to go, North Star are looking to just maybe try and get a couple more goals, a little bit more confidence in the tank as they move forwards to play Sailing Esports, who it's fair to say do look like a very, very solid team. Yes, okay, they lost 3-0 to Kinotrope, but I tell you something, they're not going to be the only team to do that this weekend. So Sailing Esports will be a very, very tough test. North Star Gaming need to have as much momentum going into that one as they possibly can get. And a 1-0 victory isn't really going to do that for us, Pegasus.
Certainly not. But they have played a little bit slow in this regard. I mean, the way they were playing in those previous games, I felt like if they did try that against a higher level opponent, that's when you would see those dangerous counterattacks come through, like early in Series 1. We want them to build up the play a little bit more calmly, a bit more calculated, and this is just a perfect lesson for that. Baller flicks it up beautifully for Luna. Luna gets that touch forward. Yes, it does come off an opponent, but it just guarantees that that ball is going to go in the danger area. Lovely finish on the end of it as well. This is what I want to see from North Star.
Certainly is. Oh my goodness, opportunity at the near post. LCT rebuffs it, and now looking to move back downfield on the left side. Maybe a pass in field, but there's no one there to receive. Now Ray looking for Orc Wavy, pass back. That's really nice play from Lamb Munchers. Can't even argue about that one. That's just, yeah, sometimes you just got to sit back and say fair enough. Nice pass down from Ray's Orc Wavy, and Sferin finishes the job.
I'm going to be taking note of these players and this team of Lamb Munchers, because as much as North Star Gaming have gotten the best of him in 2 games and hopefully a third as well, they do have these moments of such high promise that has me thinking that these might be 3 players to look out for here in the Asia Pacific region in these upcoming opens this season. So definitely going to be keeping an eye here. Though they are forced to defend, an LCT dribble. Baller Reese will take it to the corner, comes off the ceiling, wants to go alone on that dunk, doesn't quite make a connection, but now Luna has a chance of his own. Flip reset, LCT once again fighting in the box, and that's going to leave it open for Luna. He's got his flip, he's got an open net, he's got the mechanics as well. Lamb Munchers full for a second.
The North Star Pitbull continuously badgering the back lines of defenses since 2025. And for much longer as well, you would expect, as LCT causing big problems on the Lamb Munchers defense, and back to having daylight between us and our opponents. Luna looking for a double,
my goodness,
and that one hits the post, and actually he probably shouldn't have got that second touch because there was a player waiting to finish that ball. It just didn't happen, and now Baller East going to go up, looking to try and get a reset. Whoa. That's some really nice control mechanics, but there's no one on the follow-up to finish the job. 1 minute 45 to go. North Star look very much in control of this one.
They certainly do. But it's that final minutes where we sometimes lose that little bit of control, start to slip on the ice a little bit. This November, LCT takes this ball over, blocked down in the center. It's all about who catches these loose balls. This time it's Baller Reese again, tries to sneak past both corner players instead. That one's going to be pinched out. Luna has a whole defense in front of him, can see all 3 orange cards on his screen, is able to eliminate one of them from the play. The second one, however, ends up causing danger. It was an interesting double tap there from Baller East. There's an interesting flip reset as well from Luna. These guys are having a little bit of fun with it now. Just trying to test out their touches, but this is starting to look a little bit more like a team free play lobby. I mean, at least someone's using it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, North Star Gaming, I've mentioned it before, when they feel confident, that's where that's where and at their most dangerous. Goodness gracious. It's a bit early in the morning, folks. I do apologize. But yeah, it really does feel like such a momentum-based team, and they do have all the momentum right now. They are a team that things are working out for them. The players are coming together, and they're able to just try these super creative, super unorthodox things, and they are working out more often than not against Lamb Munchers. Will they work out against Sailing Esports? That's a different question that will be answered after this game is over, but 10 seconds left. 2 goals to find. Lamb Munchers will go out in top 16, and North Star Gaming will continue their march towards top 8.
Wow. What a finish from Luna. A lovely ceiling pinch as well to set this play up. But like I said, Lamb Munchers definitely not on the same level of Daybreak frontline. I mean, that's obvious from the series scoreline, but Northstar Gaming themselves have stepped up, but Lamb Munchers might be a team to look out for. I feel like they can break that top 16 mark and head into those top 12s a little bit later down the line, but the matchups today were tough. They also took a forfeit in this first game, a little bit more practice, who knows how this could have ended. But Sailing Esports on that next matchup with a very in-form LCT, Luna and Ballaris, especially compared to how the day started. Let's just say I'm a lot more confident than I was feeling earlier in the day.
And you know what? That's all we really wanted from this series, was for Northstar Gaming to perform to a degree where we were like, yes, we believe this team can make top 8 in this region. And I think that is a performance that we've just seen from them, where I do truly believe that. It's not going to be the easiest game against Sailing Esports. We know that. We know some of the players that are on that team. But by the same token, you know, we also know the players on Northstar Gaming, and we know that how big they have been in this region. We know how quality they can be in this moment. But folks, listen, we are actually going to shut this one down relatively quickly, because as we say, we already know who our opponents are going to be. We already know what game is following this. It's Northstar Gaming versus Sailing Esports for all the marbles for a top 8 position coming up after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Searching for the break of a day to follow away to you. 'Cause at the end of the day, I'm looking for no reason to change. 'Cause everything is good for you. Baby, I can see we're gonna shout it out to the sky. Tell our secrets to the night, so we can see the end in sight. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. When I look into your eyes, I can see no better light, better light than love. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. Baby, I can see we're gonna shout it out to the sky. Tell our secrets to the night, so we can see the end in sight. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. When I look into your eyes, I can see no better light, better light than love. We're gonna shout it out to the sky.
A very welcome return to your regularly scheduled programming here in APAC qualifiers as Northstar Gaming take down Lamb Munchers in a 3-0 sweep in the losers semi-final to have an opportunity to get through into the top 8 tomorrow. It will be a very, very difficult game against the likes of Sailing Esports, but Northstar Gaming now playing with their tails up, playing with all of that momentum that they take through from the sweep victory against Lamb Munchers are a very difficult prospect indeed. Welcome back to the Northstar Gaming team stream. I am Rhino, joined by Sir Pegasus, and he looks confused. I don't know why.
What a glass about, man. What a glass about. Let's get it out of the way. Let's address the elephant in the room. What's that about?
Listen, you look so cool with glasses on. I felt I needed to get involved. Yeah? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't have the prescription things. I don't have the need for them. But I felt like it was unfair that one of us had glasses on and one of us didn't. I mean, the real answer is someone redeemed it in my Twitch. But, you know, I like the first reason. I think the first reason is better.
Yeah, I really like the first reason until you just crushed my heart into a million pieces and broke it right afterwards. Hopefully Northstar won't be broken into a million pieces because they do actually face a very tough side in the form of Sailing Esports. They've only played one series today. They got a forfeit victory against HHM in the first match of the day, a team which actually went on to progress into the lower bracket semi-final as well after a Game 5 win versus Instant, but instead their one and only game. Talk about unfortunate warm-ups, it was against Keenatrope, and they did take a sweeping loss, but we did watch the tail end of that series, and Sailing Esports, they were competing. The last game actually ended 1-0 in favour of Keenatrope, with moments where Sailing Esports potentially could have taken that game for themselves. So Northstar Gaming have to be at a peak of their powers. They looked close to it in that last series against Lamb Munchers, but of course there is a little bit of a difference in the calibre of their opponents. So it's going to be all eyes forward into this final best of 5 of the GSL.
Here we go then, folks. It's do or die time. All or nothing for Sailing Esports and Northstar Gaming. And it's a very, very hot start as we would expected. Ball off the backboard. Is there someone to finish the job? LCT! Northstar Gaming lead with 12 seconds gone.
Didn't take them long. It's a wonderful self-setup of the backboard. Takes his time to turn a 45 degree to get himself back in the action. Doesn't chase that 100 boost. Has that eye for net. Sailing Esports, it's your move now. Northstar Gaming, strike first.
Yeah, here comes Baller Ray gets a good challenge, but Baller maintains possession. Tossis has to move over to the sidewall to get it away from the onrushing Northstar players, and then gets 50'd into oblivion there. From Northstar, Baller jumps high, looks for the top right corner, it hits the post. So close, could have bounced in, a couple of pixels away from 2-0. Northstar Gaming still pushing for that second goal. It might be here, Luna's misjudged it, LCT won't misjudge it, but it's saved by Ray. Northstar Gaming really should be 2-0 up by now.
Ball out into the corner, Ray has to take it on his lonesome. His challenge first there by Baller. LCT will take this one off the ceiling. Doesn't want to get too fancy with it. Lets it drop down. Luna takes over. Higher boost of attack. The 50-50 is not strong enough, but Baller keeps that offense flowing, but it sees counter-attacks that we know Northstar Gaming are susceptible to. That was 3 players pressed too high. An eye for net this time on the side of Ray. That Dominus is well going to generate that extra bit of power behind it. 1-1 all square. Northstar Gaming though looking like that stronger team offensively.
Yeah, they are, and this has been a problem we've already discussed, and it's been a problem since the 2025 season, now as we move into 2025-26, where if LCT is the third man, Northstar Gaming aren't defending. That's just the matter of fact, okay? LCT is going to be so far pushed forward every time that when Baller and Luna both go forwards as well, there just isn't a defense. And if Sailing Esports are able to notice that pattern and make the most of it and take those kind of long pot shots when it's LCT who's the furthest back, they really have a chance to win this game purely based on counterattacks, dealing with the aggression that Northstar Gaming are putting forwards and then just striking. But here comes Baller He fakes that one out beautifully. Luna finishes off, but Baller take a bow, son.
Well, you talk about the defense, but how about the offense? A three-headed Hydra, so tough to keep up with. Who knows if they're going to get a touch on that ball? Who knows if they're going to go for a second? Is that second man prepared right behind them? Of course they are. Never looking to play that defense. Keep themselves front-footed. Sailing Esports, keep your eyes peeled. But coming in off the corner, Reese takes it down, beats two with one touch. Has that man right behind him to try and take that 50-50. Luna is left on his lonesome on his own lines as well to get that 50 back forward. Tossis has to keep this ball tight. LCT wants to drop it down. It's good.
And welcome in everybody from the Project Dela Cruz stream. An easy day for you guys, a less easy day for Northstar Gaming. They went down into the lower bracket early, and now they are here against Sailing Esports for a top in the spot in the top 8. Thank you very much, as I say, to Ground Zero for coming through and giving us that raid, and enjoy this series. At the moment, Northstar Gaming are enjoying this series. 3-1 up, playing very, very well. Not even half this game played, though, and that always makes me nervous, Pegasus, based on what we've seen so far today. Yeah. And based on that play right there, that was a little bit touch and go, but Northstar survived for the moment. Tossis moving forwards, cleared away by Luna.
LCT on that half turn has to catch it past Matchy. Does take this ball back. Tossis doesn't look ready for it, and Matchy assumed the same. That's why he takes that extra touch. It's a simple setup for Northstar Gaming. Luna lurking inside as well. That fourth goal is going to be a point of contention, but here's where my eyes remain on Northstar Gaming. For me, it's not about how Sailing Esports respond. It's whether Northstar go into that shelled up role where they try to have free players on their goal line, because it's just not where they're at their best. I want to see them defend with offense, with forward pressure, play that high line, and keep the opportunities of a fifth or a sixth goal still on the table, because when they played the opposite, that's how they were broken down by Frontline.
Yeah, and it's a storyline, it's a facet of Northstar Gaming that we keep coming back to, is the sense that these guys play so well when they have the momentum, and when they feel like they're playing well, suddenly it's almost like a flick switches, and they're playing switch flicks, I should say, and they're playing incredibly well. And there's Luna again, flicking that one over the top, getting a fifth goal on the board for Northstar Gaming. They're having fun out there right now, and this is very, very much a team that look locked in, as Prudy mentions in chat. The boys are laughing, we are locked, and Northstar Gaming 5-1 up against a team that we thought they might struggle against.
I must say, the weight of pass from LCT was pure perfection. Luna had no boost left in the tank and still was able to catch it with a flick fair after Reese able to extend for the save. LCT had an opportunity for net instead. Settled for going forward. A corner allows the rest of the team to step themselves up forward. LCT and Luna with boost of a tag. A lone ball race has to play for that 50 instead. Luna gets that catch, has time, has space. Aerial units coming down off the crossbar. And LCT will be the fox in the box to get the job done.
They call him the Erling Haaland of APAC. Tap-in merchant at the back post. And it is beautiful for Northstar Gaming. 6-1, and we could even be treated to a little holiday, Pegasus. Things are looking so good for Northstar Gaming right now. And 6-1 is good. 7-1 is better. Luna's all the way through. Reese wants the goal steal. He's not going to get it. Welcome to South America. Welcome to Brazil, everybody.
And I hope those sunglasses have stayed on, Rhino. I'm not sure what the seasons are like in South America, but I'm sure it's better than whatever we're getting here in the UK. Northstar Gaming get their tickets stamped. Boys play to the left-hand side. I'm going to have no doubt here that they will take this first game. 50 seconds left on the clock. This is the momentum they wanted to grab, and I spoke earlier about how I didn't want them to fence their posts and stop playing high-footed because it kills their own momentum. Here's what happens when they allow their gameplay to breathe and continue to flow. Don't change the way you play. The way you play is wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are just showing you right now what Northstar are capable of. They should absolutely have lost the Brazil right there. Empty net should be an easy goal. Doesn't happen. And now 13 seconds left on the clock. It's, I mean, the Brazil is still alive, but Sailing Esports, I don't know what that loss to Kinotrope has done to them, but that's a really rough way of losing game number 1 in a qualification match to the top 8. Northstar Gaming take them out in a Brazil, Pegasus. What a wonderful, wonderful game.
And how the atmosphere of this stream has progressed throughout this day has to be studied. That first series was dire. It went to 5. You'd think it was close, but Northstar Gaming had a really poor showing throughout. That should have been a series that they had in their back pocket. Second series of the day, of course, a lot more confidence against Lamb Munchers, but they've made this match seem even easier. What a wonderful inside pass that was as well. All 3 players is gorgeous spacing in between the lines here. They're able to find their teammates wonderfully, and defensively, well, they've not had to be there all too often. They've kept the ball forward and in possession, and you haven't really seen much of the ball whatsoever. But here we are in sunny Brazil. Rhino's got his glasses on, and I am blinded by the lights.
Absolutely. Always on holiday, you got to make sure you bring your aviators. So enjoying the sun here in Brazil. Of course, it's just becoming summer in the South American continent, so they're going to be getting absolute heat waves galore, so you can't go without sun protection. So we are wearing the sunglasses to make sure that we don't get blinded by the absolute stars that are LCT, Ballaris and Luna, because they are playing incredibly well. A great game 1. Can we follow it up with a great game 2?
Hopefully so, but those kickoffs have gone against them at times, and they have gone for that second man Tai Chi, get it off the 50. Tossis takes it out front post. LCT keeps the ball out, but Ray jumps alongside his teammate as well. Still able to recover himself and find him, but Tossis has had to drop all the way back. There's a fair bit of space still. Ballaris decides to boom that ball forward. Not sure that was the decision to go for, but still Northstar not going to give up on this attack. This is the unrelenting play style that they can form themselves into. That vice is tightening, somewhat loosened by that miss from LCT.
Yeah, and that is going to happen when you go for those kinds of plays. It was a difficult read off that left-hand side, so LCT does just go by. Tossis with an opportunity now to get a shot on target. Has enough boost really to make it difficult. Gets a bump on the goal line, so Ray now takes over into the corner. Sees Matchy in the middle, looking for the shot. It's over the bar. Sailing Esports, they are moving very, very quickly in this game 2 to try and bring the series level. They might not be able to, though. LCT gets stuffed by Matchy.
Gonna have to bail away from this one. This is a clear ball for Ballaris. Has that 100 boost as well. The 50 is good. Luna will struggle to catch, however. Matchy does well with that 50-50. LCT knows Tossis on that side. Well, decides to bail away early. There's that fear factor now that the players have been able to inflict after that game 1. But fearless challenges coming in here from Matchy. Forces out a save from Ballaris. LCT has some space in that corner, but the demo comes out in an attempt to try and slow down his counter-attack. But that respawn from Ballaris is favourable. Uses his teammate as well to just shotgun towards the ball. This looks like a team that's having fun while still remaining their professionalism, and that is dangerous with Ballaris.
Certainly is. Matchy's taken out Luna, so LCT's going to have to do it alone. A lie, Ballaris is right there supporting the attack. It doesn't happen for him this time. Tossis looking for a flick, doesn't get all of it. And Luna now sends this one over to the left-hand side. Beats the last man, but Tossis recovers. Gets the demo. 2 to help. Might not need them. Definitely needed them. But the back post is there for Ballaris to finish. And it's going to be Northstar Gaming who lead game 2.
What a setup there from Luna. He's been that player during this series who's made a lot of magic happen. Not necessarily found the back of the net, but has come close to guaranteeing it. A pause, though, has been called in chat. And I'm not sure.
I don't think it is allowed. I think Luna's
how
right.
that works in the GSL. It has to be the mainstream, unfortunately. That's unlucky. Luna will grab that second goal, and if it is true that that's not allowed, then this goal will stand. Ballaris also said that there are some issues here in the lobby. Of course, that's not how you want to see a game decided, but if it's affecting both teams, I guess continue where we left off, and you're going to have to fight through the struggle.
Yeah, it's difficult to see exactly what's happened for both teams there. As we say, Ballaris seems to have the same problem that Ray has, but according to the rule book, no pause is allowed. And so, yeah, we will just play on, and it might be a chance for Sailing Esports We'll call that a fake, won't we? That's that one coming through. Ray just popping the ball high, looking for a teammate. Doesn't come through, but fakes out the defense enough. Sailing Esports back within 1.
We'll call that charity for the goal that Northstar Gaming scored in amongst the chaos. Now we're back to that regular 1-goal difference that was in that play before any of those pause attempts were thrown out. Luna does well to clear this away on his back wall. Keeps it controlled, though, within a distance there for his teammate to pick that ball up. Matchy, though, on his corner, 100 boost, 50 by Baller Reese. Luna was caught a little bit high on that ball, has to send this one wide, whereas he wanted to make a bit more forward progression initially. That's a wonderful intercept from Ray, but it falls down dangerously. There isn't a third man available. And Luna once more takes a goal away from his teammates. In all fairness, they were trying to steal it from him before, just as he was trying to hit 1,000. Don't think he's going to be hitting those 1K marks this time, but it will certainly look to take us into Game 3 with match points.
Revenge is a dish best served with goals, I believe is the saying, isn't it? As Matchy now brings this one through, and LCT going to be a little bit sad that he only gets an assist for that previous goal. 3-1 we go, but Luna, maybe a double. Lovely redirects, but Matchy is equal to it. They are trying everything. This is Northstar Gaming having fun. They will pay for it. It will be a goal from Matchy. But as long as Northstar Gaming keep the vibes high, keep the feeling in the VC kind of the way it is now, I don't see any way that Northstar Gaming lose this game or series. And that can be cast cursed, absolutely. But hey, we go for it.
We tried our luck in Series 1 of a day, and that did not go very well for us. Well, this is a different Northstar Gaming. This is a different series. It honestly feels like it's a different day altogether. Baller Reese takes this ball high. Flip reset can't beat Tossis, who has been solid in this series so far, but I would like to see a little bit more from him offensively for his own sake. For Northstar, I'm happy for him to pedal back. Tossis, be careful what you wish for here. LCT takes his ball towards the right wall. Plenty of pace behind it. Has a teammate behind him, though. Full to the brim of boost. Actually, 2 options. Baller Reese will now be the one responsible to pick it up, but that initial miss is scary. Matchy's low on boost, however, and that was a few pads away from disaster.
It certainly was, and now a double commit on the goal line from Northstar Gaming. You can always see their defense is not solid. They are always nervous when they have to face a team that are attacking. LCT will avoid the demo, take it down the other side, but intercepted by Matchy. Now it's Baller Reese's turn to try and clear the ball away. He gets it beyond that first player, but Tossis intercepts on the left wall now. Looking to play it across into the middle. He's got a player at the back post, Matchy, but LCT does enough on the backboard. Northstar Gaming, if this scoreline remains the same, will be a game away from top 8. And that looks to be the case. A great clearance. Matchy trying to bring it down, gets challenged. And now 0 seconds. Might be one for the road.
Oh.
Luna finds his hat-trick.
Incredible. A lovely way to end what has been a rather solid game from Northstar Gaming. Of course, our points gods do certainly bleed. And asking to swap channels into... Oh, so it was a Discord issue, it seems here. Nice to get some clarification on that. So maybe a loss of comms halfway through the game for Sailing Esports. But either way, moving forward, Northstar looking a bit more like the team we were calling for. I mean, those in chat mentioning that Northstar is heralded to be a top 4 team before this even all began. They proved that as well with their Swiss stage performance. They didn't with their first series of the day, but now really easing into this day, they're looking a lot closer to that pedigree.
Yeah, they certainly are. This is a really solid game against, it's, you know, players that have been in and around the APAC kind of top 8 for a while. Looking at Tossis and I believe Matchy has made it rather close as well, certainly main event. I've not seen Ray too much. I know my colleagues here on the broadcast know a bit more about Ray than I do. But at this particular moment, it is LCT. Sorry, it is LCT, Valoris, and Luna who are looking like the more professional, and they are 1 game away, as I mentioned, from arguably where they belong in the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they didn't make top 8, that would be the upset of the region. There hasn't been many other results that you could credit to that whatsoever. This is a team that, frankly, being in the lower bracket in the first place would be unexpected for a lot of people unless they got bracketed and had to face the likes of, well, I guess Kina Trope or Project Delacruz. That was never going to happen. But now dropped down by Daybreak Frontline, looking a lot better in the follow-up now with those matches against Lamb Munchers and Sailing Esports. But it's about keeping that consistency and picking yourself up well for what will be the mainstream on the weekend.
Yeah, it certainly will. And we move ahead into that game number 3. Just before we fully start, I do want to thank the raid that came through. Grump Nugget, appreciate you for viewers coming through into the channel. We appreciate the raids, and any more eyeballs on APAC is always a good thing, so thank you very much for coming through. Now LCT down the left hand side, getting a 50, trying to find a pass midfield. Luna's waiting, Luna's shooting, Luna's not scoring, and Baller is panicking. He's moving back towards his half, but he takes out 2 players with this turn, gets one more off the crossbar. Please finish the job, thank you so much. Baller deserved that, and the finish into the empty net is perfect from LCT.
This is just what Baller East does. Did it for the entirety of the 2025 season. He finds himself in these little pockets where you're like, okay, there's no way he escapes. He's surrounded by a sea of his opponent's blue. No way he turns the tides. He does it every single time. And LCT, that's how you know they've been teamed for a long time. Most players would just turn around and run back to defense. He knows that Baller can pull off the impossible. 2 challenge there for Northstar Gaming. Baller had an opportunity for net, but somewhat makes a hash of that one. Mashy sends it high. That play will certainly die. And now the counter is all Sailing Esports. Flip reset denied.
Yeah, really nicely denied as well. LCT will be given an opportunity. Gets a demo onto Tossis as well. Nice ball into the middle. Finish the job! LCT! It may be game 3 of the final series of the day, but the beast has awoken, and Northstar Gaming look set to go through into top 8 tomorrow.
Follow the Northstar, and you will see utter greatness. Sailing Esports haven't done that, and unfortunately look like they've hit an iceberg on the way. Luna off that back wall gets that job done. It goes from bad to worse. When it rains, it pours. The momentum is Northstar Gaming. This is the top 4 side we were looking for, and who knows what the weekend will bring. But I'm sure after this qualification, many people will see a run of a lifetime from Northstar in the losers brackets.
Yeah, you would certainly expect so, but again, that's not a place where LCT and Baller are unfamiliar with. They had to make a few lower bracket runs in RLCS 2025, and they did a fantastic job of making it through to, you know, your top 4s even in some of those opens. So we would expect still to see them in those best of 7s prove their quality, prove their professionalism. I'm just wondering if we get another trip down to South America. It would require Sailing to score. They almost didn't. They do get that one right. 4 goals in a row for Northstar Gaming. Who's down?
Gorgeous setup from Ravo. Flip reset from that halfway line to take it over. I thought that was going to be a goal. Unfortunately, that a crossbar was hit, but Tossis gets that job done. And we've spoken a lot about the weekend. Still the day left to be played, and you don't want to open up that door, but it certainly has been left ajar. Second goal here for Matchy. It's another kick-off strats going against the favour of Northstar Gaming. If there was one little moment of their gameplay that I would be researching after today's action, it would certainly be in those kick-off areas. They've lost it almost every single time.
Fine, I'll put the sunglasses away. Big sad. Ray working off that right-hand side, won't be able to find much. LCT brings it away, and we've seen him go on so many runs like this before. Baller East comes through to try and challenge, and, well, it goes a bit wrong, doesn't it? And that could be the equaliser. Oh. How on earth has he saved that? LCT gets back in time to make the block, and we are just getting down to the halfway mark in this Game 3 now. Sailing Esports, if they are to go into that top 8, will need to spark some kind of recovery, some kind of reverse sweep here. It has to start in Game 3. but they will need to start scoring, and that is a problem that they've had so far, not just in this game, but in the Kinotrope game as well.
Oh, another air dribble bump attempted there by Sailing Esports. They're trying to throw everything they can at them, and they have looked the stronger side for the past 30 seconds, but one opportunity for Luna. Low boost, no problem!
That is what he does. The American comes through. Thought he might have just taken the shot initially, but no. Luna wants the style points. He wants the extra acknowledgement that he can get the difficult double tap on limited boost, and that's exactly how he pulls that one off. It's now 4-2 to North Star, 2 minutes to go. Matchy off the kickoff, might be looking for something here. It goes flying over the bar, and Baller Reese makes sure the ball goes beyond the halfway line. He's actually going to look for a shot here. It's not very powerful. Tossis deals with it, sends the ball up to the right-hand side. Shot not on, and it should be Luna to send it away, and he will.
Has some nice control here with Matchy. Cuts in quick. You're going to start to see a very desperate final 100 seconds from Sailing Esports. They're on their final life for the entirety of this open, and Luna surely had the shot to send them out of it. Instead, more work required from Baller Reese from the corner. Doesn't have enough boost to go all the way. LCT all in to take that ball off the backboard. Luna doesn't reach it again, but a pass back inside actually comes off the back of Sailing Esports. Now Baller Reese once more finds himself in his top right corner. Not as fortunate as beforehand, but LCT does it again.
And Luna does it again. He steals the goal from his teammate. LCT with all of the work. Look to come off that back wall. Looks beautiful. But no, it is poached by Luna. The American comes through to get his third goal of the game. His hat-trick now. He can't steal any more goals. That's a general rule in Rocket League, right? As soon as you got your hat-trick, no more. And so Luna will now have to give his teammates goals. No, seriously, it's been really fun to watch this North Star Gaming team in the last two series. This one included a very clean sweep in the lower semi-final, and what is looking to be a clean sweep in the lower final as well. You just do wonder, you know, what happened in that first game, in that first series against, it was a Daybreak Frontline. And I think if they played like this, I think they would have got through it, Pegasus, to be honest.
Certainly, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I know that LCT has got a case of the COVID, susceptibly, and they certainly played lethargic in that first series, but as time went on, they got that first loss of the season, and it's important when you do take that first loss, you show your professionalism, you show that personality and your ability to bounce back. That's their biggest challenge of the very short season so far. Already taken an extra goal there for Luna. He's wanted to hunt for all these points today, and he will get rewarded in this instance. 6-2. We'll see them in the mainstream. Top 8 secured, and for Sailing Esports, it's an unfortunate day in the office having to play both Kinotrope and North Star Gaming. I'm sure we'll see them in future opens.
Yeah, you don't doubt it, right? This is a team that will be able to challenge for those mainstreams, for that top 8, for the rest of the season. No doubt about it. But on this occasion, they were outmatched and outclassed by North Star Gaming. The plays, the aggression, honestly, the fun being found in the game of Rocket League was all in the direction of North Star Gaming. And yeah, Sailing had a couple of moments, had a couple of times where it looked like they were going to be able to get back into the game, but North Star Gaming just immediately laid waste to all of that, made it their own, made it their series. And I mean, that's the pick of the bunch, isn't it? That Luna double touch from the top rope. Beautiful work.
Certainly. And now moving forward, you do start to look at the bracket and these teams that are qualifying through lowers. It looks like Rapier might be HHM. We've still got a lot to wait for in Group B. Of course, they have that 10 minutes buffer compared to the group we find ourselves in, so still questions of who will qualify for that lower spot to potentially be the opponents for North Star Gaming. But one thing's for sure, if there was a team to go the full distance from lowers that is in this position, it is going to be North Star. Of course, eventually they are going to find the roadblocks that are going to be Kinotrope and Project De La Cruz for most of the people watching. I'm sure that is going to be the opinion there of the clear top 2 clear-cut teams. But who knows? Upsets happen, and APAC is in a completely different era with the introduction of the 2/3 rule. I'm certainly excited, Rhino, and I am proud of the players today, because to bounce back after what was a horrific first series of the day just proves to me that this team can make anything from anything.
Yeah, they can, and it's the way that they do it as well, which is so fun to watch. I knew that as soon as we had the opportunity to broadcast a North Star, we would have the most exciting games in the region because of the 3 players that are involved. Luna, LCT, Ballerise are so much fun to watch all of the time, and even in that 5-game series, it was still entertaining Rocket League. It was still great to watch. So we are going to shut this stream down. I would love to tell you exactly where to watch North Star tomorrow, but to be honest, no one has any idea, so make sure you look out on Twitch to find where to watch the main stream tomorrow. But for myself, for Pegasus, and for Hazza running production in the background, it's been a pleasure to bring you North Star Gaming's run in this GSL stage. Top 8 tomorrow. We look forward to it. See you there.